limited edition vellum sculpture by Anthony Quinn.
That's actually pretty cool, but it's sort of weird. This is craziness right here, and this kind of mechanism.
What kind of mechanism is that?
It's called a matchlock.
The episode kicks off with Civil War history wrapped in brass. A seller brings in an 1862 encased postage stamp with George Washington's face staring proudly from inside. Rick squints like he's solving a puzzle, while the seller admits he needs cash after his band lost their gear. Rock and roll dreams meet philatelic relics. Right away, Rick knows this could be rare, or worth about as much as a pack of gum.
So where in the world did you get this?
Well, when I was a kid, I went to a hardware store with my dad, and it had an old antique register, and I was messing with it, and I opened it up, and there it was.
Rick's first concern is that the stamp looks trimmed to fit the case. Damaged means devalued. But he's not guessing. He calls in Dana, the coin and currency guru. Dana arrives practically glowing, clearly excited to sink his teeth into a Civil War curiosity. The seller looks like he's praying for a miracle appraisal.
Definitely old and antique.
My big concern is it's been put in this thing. It looks like they had to trim the stamp down to put it in this case.
Dana delivers the history lesson. During the Civil War, coins vanished from circulation as people hoarded gold, silver, and copper. John Galt patented the idea of encasing stamps in brass to use as emergency money. Only about 1,000 are known today. The seller's eyes widen. He realizes he might be holding a tiny fortune instead of pocket change.
But it's inserted in a strange case, and it may have been cut to fit in. So I called my buddy Dana down to take a closer look.
Dana examines closely. The lettering, Whited the Hatter, Broadway, New York, is intact. The patent date of 1862 visible. The stamp is well-centered and bright. His verdict? Auction value around $4,000 to $6,000. The seller nearly faints, while Rick keeps his trademark poker face like he's not already smelling profit.
A really historic item. There may be 1,000 encased postage stamps known.
Time for negotiations. The seller asks $4,500. Rick counters with $2,000. Stone cold as usual. The seller pleads for $3,500. Rick bumps slightly to $2,300 and digs in. Finally, the seller caves. Rick scores Civil War money history for $2,300, while the seller leaves happy with enough cash to replace his stolen gear.
The case is untampered with, and it has really good detail on all the lettering, and I would call it extremely fine quality overall.
Next, nostalgia rolls in with a train set from 1916 to 1920 made by Ives. The seller hopes for $850. Rick tries to lowball at $750, but the seller holds his ground. After grumbling about hating it when people know what they've got, Rick caves at the full $850. The seller leaves smiling, box included, and Rick takes the L.
I have a 1916 to 1920 Ives Train set.
Pops, how come you never got me a toy this cool?
Rick reflects on the train, admitting Ives was once a giant in the toy world. The company went head-to-head with Lionel until the Great Depression crushed them. Corey jokes about Neil Young being a co-owner of Lionel now, because of course rock stars collect toy trains. The shop may have overpaid, but at least they added a slice of history.
Okay, in 1929, Ives declared bankruptcy. They were taken over by Lionel.
Who is it that owns Lionel now? Neil Young, right?
Then, car drama speeds into the shop. A 1980 Datsun 280ZX 10th Anniversary Edition. Flashy on the outside, but when the engine turns over, it coughs like it just smoked a pack of Marlboros. The seller dreams of $28,000, but Rick values it closer to $4,000. Big Hoss calls their mechanic, who quickly finds backyard repairs, leaks, and a slipping transmission. No deal.
It's got a miss on it. It's not firing on one cylinder.
They're cold-blooded when they first start. That Datsun's always were. It's just a tune-up, that's all it needs.
The seller fumes, accusing Rick of bailing after making an offer. But the mechanic's verdict is clear. The car needs $35,000 in restoration. Rick backs out, and the seller storms off, muttering about crooked pawn shops. The reality? The Datsun was a ticking money pit, and Rick dodged a bullet.
He doesn't sound too healthy, man. It just needs a tune-up. I think it needs a little more than a tune-up. No, I drove it 80 miles, and it didn't miss a tick.
From there, a woman rolls in a tricycle supposedly from the 1800s. She swears it's been in her family for over a century. Rick inspects it and finds vinyl seats and welded joints. Clear signs of a reproduction. He passes, and the woman leaves unconvinced, muttering that Rick doesn't know what he's talking about. Lance Armstrong on a tricycle? Not happening.
A tricycle from the 1800s.
And where did you get that?
From my mom's basement.
Rick explains to the camera that it's common for people to inherit something they believe is priceless, only to find out it's decorative. He doesn't enjoy breaking hearts, but this is business. The shop survives by spotting fakes before they drain the wallet. It's harsh, but it's reality TV gold.
Rick is older than I am. To be as old as this, it's in damn good condition.
Tricycles were insanely popular in the late 1800s.
Then James Bond enters the mix. A seller presents the final draft script of Goldfinger, gifted to him by Harold Sakata, the actor who played Oddjob. Rick nerds out, explaining how Goldfinger turned Bond into an icon. The seller wants $1,000. Rick counters $500. Deal struck. Even 007 can't escape Rick's lowball.
So where in the world did you get this?
The guy that played Oddjob, Harold Sakata, gave it to me. Hey, we were close friends.
That's you?
That's me, yeah.
Chumley, of course, can't resist. He starts mimicking Oddjob, pretending to throw his invisible hat. Rick groans, Corey rolls his eyes, and the seller leaves $500 richer. Watching Chumley act out Bond villains is either comedy gold or proof that caffeine should be banned in the shop.
When he was electrocuted in Fort Knox, it was
Okay. This item is neat. It may not have been signed by Sean Connery, but it's still James Bond.
Rick muses about the Oddjob script afterward, admitting it's a quirky collectible, but not life-changing. Still, it's Bond, and Bond always sells. In Rick's world, that means another item to draw in fans and maybe score profit. Chumley, meanwhile, continues his acting spree in the background, much to everyone's dismay.
$500 is more in order. I mean, that's literally what I think it's worth.
that'll work.
Okay. All right. It's a deal. All right, Chum, you want to write them up?
As always, the episode is a mashup of wins and weirdness. A $6,000 Civil War stamp snagged cheap, a rare train set where Rick had to pay full price, a money pit Datsun disaster, a fake antique trike, and a Bond script lowballed into Rick's collection. Only at the gold and silver pawn shop can history, heartbreak, and hilarity collide in one day.
Thank you for the demonstration, Goldfinger. Choose your next witticism carefully, Mr. Bond. It may be your last.
The episode opens with something straight out of Japanese history. A seller brings in an antique matchlock rifle. Rick hefts it up, shocked at the weight. It's like a workout tool, he jokes. The seller explains it's been in his family for generations, passed down from military ancestors. Rick is fascinated by the mechanism, but knows the market on these can swing from a few hundred to thousands.
That is gnarly.
It's a Japanese antique rifle.
It weighs a good 40 or 50 pounds.
It's heavy.
Rick explains the firing method to Corey, showing how a smoldering rope would ignite the powder. It's ingenious, but also ridiculously unreliable. Wind, rain, even stray sparks could ruin your shot. While Europe ditched matchlocks centuries earlier, Japan clung to them well into the 1800s. Rick admits collectors love Japanese firearms, but he wants an expert's opinion.
It was burning, always smoldering. There's some gunpowder right here, and you would splash that smoldering rope into the gunpowder right there.
Enter Sean, the gun expert. He marvels at the rifle, calling it a wall gun used for defense. Heavy, massive, and built to intimidate, this thing was no samurai sword. Sean estimates it at $3,000 to $6,000, pointing out that its rarity as a wall gun makes it especially desirable. The seller lights up. Suddenly, his moving expenses could be covered.
Wow. Do you mind?
Please.
Oh yeah.
It feels a good 40 pounds.
I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, this is...
Rick, though, plays it cool. He offers $2,000, explaining that the top-end values aren't guaranteed. The seller pleads for $3,500. Rick bumps slightly to $2,200, final offer. After some hesitation, the seller agrees. Rick scores a rare piece of Japanese history, and the seller walks away ready to buy himself a modern pistol instead.
I said $2,200.
You didn't say 25?
No, I said $2,200.
Okay.
Deal, $2,200.
Next comes the star of the episode, a 1952 Fender Telecaster. The seller found it in his grandpa's basement and hopes it will help him pay for college. Corey knows Blackguard Telecasters are legendary in guitar history. This was the first mass-produced solid-body electric guitar. The seller shoots high, asking $30,000.
Hey, my grandpa's basement, and he loved to play, so he gotta get himself a good guitar.
Do you know much about it? Or?
I know it's old.
Corey calls Jesse, the guitar guru, who immediately spots it as a genuine early 52. He checks the neck pocket and finds the initials of Tadeo Gomez, Fender's master craftsman. That confirmation makes Corey jaw drop. It's everything you'd want in a vintage Telecaster. Jesse estimates $25,000 to $30,000 in today's market.
Well, this is cool. Blackguard Telly. That's really needs to be tuned. Cool.
Negotiations get tense. The seller wants closer to $30,000, but Corey offers $13,000 cash, pointing out the risks of resale. The seller hesitates, but the thought of tuition bills pushes him over the edge. Deal made at $13,000. The seller leaves relieved, while Corey gloats about scoring one of the most iconic guitars ever.
I'll give you 13 for it.
Cash?
Cash.
Yep, it's good enough for a semester.
All right, cool.
Of course, chaos follows. The Telecaster goes missing in the shop, sparking accusations. Rick grills Chumley, who insists he didn't touch it. Turns out Corey had already sold it, but forgot to update the system. Rick fumes, Chumley demands an apology, and Corey shrugs it off with a check in hand. Typical Harrison family drama.
Chum,
What?
we had a Telecaster guitar that was supposed to come off this morning. Have you seen it? A Fender?
No, I ain't seen it.
Then comes a superhero twist. A seller presents what he claims is the very first Superman action figure from 1939, complete with original box. Rick admires the old school logo and packaging, but admits he doesn't know enough. Asking price? $6,000. Rick wisely calls in Johnny, the toy expert.
This is the very first piece of merchandising ever done for Superman.
The very first, huh?
As a matter of fact, it's the first superhero action figure.
Johnny confirms it's legit, the first superhero action figure ever made. But there's bad news. The figure has repainting on the chest and head. Collectors hate restoration. Still, the box itself is incredibly rare, with fewer than a dozen known examples. Johnny values the figure and box together at about $3,000.
This is the first superhero action figure that was ever made. This came out in '39, just a year after Action Comics released their first Superman item.
It looks really good.
The seller scoffs, insisting the box alone is worth thousands. Rick offers $2,000, then bumps to $2,500. The seller rejects both, holding firm at $5,000. No deal. He walks out muttering about turning down higher offers. Rick shrugs. Restored toys are always a tough sell.
What I can do is I go $2,500 if you want it.
But I think I'll keep it.
Okay, well, have a good one, man.
Back to the guitar drama. Rick finally gets confirmation from Jesse that everything checked out on the Telecaster. Corey completes the sale for $30,000, making a tidy profit. Rick's only gripe? The communication meltdown that made him think Chumley lost a $13,000 guitar.
Nice big neck.
Yeah.
Like they're supposed to have. We can wrap this up.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Very cool. Figures I'd be the one cleaning up all their mess.
The episode ends with Rick and Corey bickering about miscommunication while Chumley gloats about being right for once. You owe someone an apology, Chumley insists. Rick rolls his eyes, but deep down, he knows Chum has a point. Rare guns, iconic guitars, and superhero toys. It's just another chaotic day at the gold and silver pawn shop.
Sure, you didn't take it home by mistake.
No, I don't play the guitar. I tried that. It didn't work.
I mean, you could have been in the zone and you were looking it up and wanted to go.
The episode opens with horsepower. Literally, Corey heads out to check a 1981 Suzuki GS 1100 Pro Street drag bike. The seller brags it can do 140 miles per hour stock, and with a few tweaks, hit 200 miles per hour. Corey's eyes light up like a kid in a candy store. But the big problem? No title. That's like buying a Ferrari with a handwritten receipt.
So this is it, huh?
This is it.
Tell me about it.
It's a 1981 Suzuki GS 1100 Pro Street drag bike.
The seller wants $3,000. Corey points out the missing paperwork kills the value, so he lowballs at $1,500. After some back and forth, they settle at $1,600. Not exactly a record-breaking profit, but Corey grins. Sometimes you can't pass up cool factor, even if it's just for bragging rights.
I am really interested in the bike. I'm not gonna lie to you there. We do have some issues, man. I'd prefer it to be street legal.
Well, it can be made. It was a street bike. It was registered in California years back.
Back at the shop, the real drama kicks off when a woman brings in a Beatles guitar signed by all 4 members. Yes, all 4. Rick nearly chokes on his own skepticism. Authentic Beatles autographs are rare, but on a guitar, that's the holy grail of rock memorabilia. The seller confidently asks for $100,000.
I've got something here for you to see.
It's not a machine gun or anything, is it?
No.
Whoa,
It's a Beatles guitar.
Rick calls in Warwick, the Beatles expert. Warwick is instantly suspicious. He explains that in 1964, the Beatles usually signed autograph books, not guitars. Plus, the signatures appear to be from a felt-tip pen, which was rare at the time. Warwick warns, if real, it's worth $250,000. If fake, worthless.
So what are you concerned about?
I'm looking at a guitar that's got these autographs on it.
alarm bells go off on my head.
Rick then calls in Steve Grad, the autograph authenticator. Steve inspects carefully, noting John Lennon's and Ringo Starr's signatures look off, especially Ringo's missing star flourish. He drops the hammer. The guitar is a forgery, crafted by a known Beatles forger. The seller's face collapses as her $100,000 dream evaporates.
Real problem with the pen.
Okay.
So, would they have this pen in 1964?
They used a lot to mark like jerseys.
The shop buzzes after Steve's reveal. Rick shakes his head, explaining how dangerous high-profile forgeries are. Corey cracks a joke about Chumley's autograph being worth more than the fake Lennon signature. The seller insists she had no idea, but reality hits. Dreams of a Beatles payday just went down the drain.
And this is a real pronounced D. Now, sometimes he rolled it a little. You see Ringo Starr would typically put a star. That's also something that kind of sticks out right here.
Trying to recover from the Beatles bust, Corey checks out a magic lantern projector from 1912. The seller found it at a garage sale and wants $400. Corey fires it up, projecting upside-down images on the wall. It works, but Corey's unimpressed, pointing out better examples sell for less. He offers $100. The seller grudgingly accepts.
Here is a 1912 mirror scope, also called a magic lantern. Basically, it's a projector. You would put postcards in there, pictures, and you would project it up on the wall.
Rick joins in to explain that magic lanterns were precursors to modern film projectors. Families would gather in dark rooms and watch hand-painted slides. Corey laughs, saying it's basically 1912 Netflix. Rick doesn't disagree, minus the popcorn and the monthly subscription fee.
But this was one of the first ones that actually used electricity. It was pretty much how you progressed to movie theaters. They were pretty cool.
Next, a customer brings in an American Express stock certificate signed by Henry Wells and James Fargo, dated 1863. Rick nerds out, explaining this is the same Wells and Fargo that went on to form Wells Fargo. It's basically financial history on paper. The seller wants $2,500. Rick lowballs at $400, and the seller storms out, vowing to sell it online.
I've got this piece. It's an American Express stock certificate, and it's signed by Henry Wells and James Fargo.
That's cool. We'll never leave home without it.
Rick, watching the exchange, chuckles that people often think paperwork equals instant wealth. He explains that while signatures are valuable, rarity and demand determine price. Rick nods, adding that no one's framing Amex stock certificates to hang over the fireplace.
This all sort of started together. Basically, they started off as a freight company. If you look at the words American Express, sounds like...
Comic relief hits when the guys argue over who forgot to refill the copy machine with paper. Rick is furious. Chumley claims it's not his job, and Corey eats lunch mid-argument. The old man just laughs. Classic family chaos in the pawn shop.
Just assuming, Chum, you were the last one to use the printer.
Well, hello, Grumpy Stiltskin.
Am I right?
Yeah? So what did I do?
You didn't put paper in it.
Back to the Beatles guitar. Rick still wants to believe, but Steve Grad confirms again it's fake. He even identifies the forger, notorious for targeting Beatles memorabilia. The seller is crushed, insisting she still has hope it might be real. Rick sympathizes, but there's no deal. The guitar walks out worthless.
Now, I see an inscription that's on here. As you could see here, they'd sign love from the Beatles or all the best. This just has.
For comic timing, Chumley tries to offer Rick his burger, saying he looks hungry. Rick shoots back that Chum should learn basic etiquette before offering food. The whole crew cracks up, proving once again the real comedy isn't in the items. It's in the employees.
Because he looked like he could use some food.
So do we have paper in the copy machine?
I'll make sure there's paper in the coffee machine after lunch.
Yeah, please do, because I got some more copies to make.
The episode wraps with Rick lecturing about etiquette again. Coffee pots, printers, copy paper. Chumley argues that refilling is someone else's job. Rick rolls his eyes, declaring etiquette is everyone's responsibility. The old man just shakes his head, reminding everyone that in this pawn shop, history, money, and comedy are always on the table.
You use the last of something, you replace it. Whether it's copy or paper. If you use the last of something,
The episode kicks off with a Hollywood twist. A seller brings in a handwritten love letter from Judy Garland to Frank Sinatra. Rick raises his eyebrows instantly. Rumors have always swirled that their friendship was more than platonic, but this letter reads like undeniable proof. The seller asks $15,000, and Rick admits it's cool, but he wants Steve, the handwriting expert, to confirm.
History. This is a handwritten love letter from Judy Garland to Frank Sinatra.
Steve arrives and carefully examines the fountain pen ink and handwriting. He matches Garland's quirky cursive style and confirms it's unquestionably authentic. Then he delivers the verdict, valued at $3,000 to $3,500, not even close to $15,000. Rick offers $1,500. The seller scoffs, and no deal is made. The heartbreak of Hollywood romance meets pawn shop reality.
I mean, I'm just more intrigued by Sinatra Garland because that was about 1948, 49 range.
Meanwhile, a monster walks through the door. Literally, a seller rolls in a replica of Creature from the Black Lagoon, signed by Ben Chapman, the original Gilman actor. He even brings the vintage 3D glasses and an old Super 8 reel. For horror fans, this is iconic, like holding a piece of 1950s fear in your hands.
I've got a replica of the 1954 Universal Classic Monster, Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Different? Where in the world did you get this?
Corey listens as the seller reminisces about meeting Chapman back in 1998. With photos of the signing in hand, authenticity is solid. The seller wants $2,200, claiming replicas like this fetch up to $3,500. Corey pushes back, offering $1,600. After some back and forth, they settle at $1,900. Corey gets his monster, and the seller walks away smiling.
But do $1,800 and it's sold.
How about $1,900?
All right, got a deal.
Okay.
The guys can't resist clowning around once the creature hits the shop floor. Corey jokes it looks like Rick had a statue made of himself. Rick shoots back that it looks more like Corey. Chumlee chimes in, laughing that none of them are scary, except maybe their customer service. The shop fills with banter louder than a 1950s horror soundtrack.
Whoa, the Swamp Thing! Kinda. Creature from the Black Lagoon.
I thought you just had a statue of yourself made.
The next item lights up the shop, literally. Gus returns with a 1920s English Channel Buoy Light made of solid brass. Rick geeks out, explaining how sailors relied on these glowing markers to avoid disaster before modern GPS. The seller hopes for $2,500, saying he wants to help pay for his daughter's college.
Oh, good, man. This is cool.
Check out this boy.
Rick examines the light, marveling at its acetylene and limestone flame system, which gave rise to the phrase "in the limelight." He offers $1,500. Gus pushes for $2,200, and they finally settle at $1,800. Gus walks away satisfied, vowing to give the money to his daughter, while Rick beams over, adding a piece of nautical history to his collection.
I absolutely love stuff like this. I mean, it's a great design, and it's an incredible shape.
Comic relief cuts in as the guys try to spook Rick with fake spiders and masks. Rick doesn't flinch, insisting nothing scares him. Chumlee cracks that the only thing Rick fears is the shop's management team. The old man adds that Rick's childhood dog bite explains his real phobia, dogs. Corey smirks, declaring Rick's future bald, round look scarier than anything in the lagoon.
This is not scary. Doesn't even look like a real, there's not even a real spider like that.
Then comes gamer nostalgia. A seller shows up with a Vectrex video game console from 1982. Chumlee lights up instantly. It's self-contained with its own screen and controller. The seller demonstrates it still works perfectly, asking $200. Chum, excited but cautious, calls Johnny from the Toy Shack for backup.
The good old Vectrex, huh?
Remember this?
This thing's pretty cool. It's a self-contained video system. It's got the screen.
Johnny arrives, thrilled to see the rare system. He explains the Vectrex came with built-in games like Mindstorm and even had optional 3D goggles. In mint condition with box and extras, they sell high, but this one lacks accessories. Johnny values it at $250 to $275 retail. Chumlee negotiates, offering $100. After haggling, they settle at $150.
You know, back then, not everybody had 2 TVs in the house. So, I mean, it was a pretty cool option for your young kids. You know, you have...
The seller admits it's less than hoped, but fair without extras. Chumlee grins, saying retro gaming never dies, especially with collectors who grew up in the 80s. Rick shakes his head, muttering about how Chum's more excited about video games than profit margins.
Yeah, I think if you can go $150, I'll deal right now.
You know what? $150 is fair. I'll accept that price.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Rick reflects again on the Garland Sinatra letter. Authentic? Yes. Intimate? Definitely. Worth $15,000? Not even close. He admits it's one of the coolest Hollywood items to walk in, but the seller's price dreams were way out of tune. Rick shakes it off, but you can tell he loved holding a piece of old Hollywood scandal.
And I can make money at 1,500 bucks.
Yeah, I don't think we can work that out.
Okay. Good luck to you, man.
The creature deal, however, is a solid win. Signed memorabilia from classic Universal monsters always moves. Rick knows horror fans are loyal, and having Ben Chapman's signature attached gives it serious credibility. Corey jokes about setting it up at the front door to scare off tourists.
You know it's not real.
So you're saying nothing scares you?
Not stuff like that, no.
Look, I mean, there's just plenty of stuff that scares you.
The Buoy Light rounds out the haul, a rare maritime relic tied to navigation before radar. Rick marvels at how sailors once relied on literal fire to avoid catastrophe. He admits he probably overpaid at $1,800, but calls it one of the coolest pieces he's snagged in a while.
It's a weird system. You take the acetylene gas, which burns really hot.
Finally, the episode ends with the family ribbing Rick again about his fear of dogs. The old man recalls the childhood mauling story in detail, and Corey quips that Rick's scarier than any lagoon creature. Rick shrugs, saying the scariest thing is relying on them to run his business. The shop erupts in laughter, closing the episode on peak Pawn Stars comedy.
I'll tell you, Rick, what you're scared of. When you were a kid, you were scared of dogs.
The episode starts off with some shop banter. Corey suggests billboards, but Chumley insists going viral is the way to go. He starts pitching memes, comparing Rick to Grumpy Cat. Rick shuts him down fast, warning not to waste the whole day online. The old man, of course, stays grumpy without even trying. Honestly, his face alone could fund a meme empire.
So Corey, were you checking to see how much it would be to get a billboard on I-15 coming into town? I think it's good advertisement for the shop.
Really, a billboard?
First up, a seller brings in a limited edition vellum sculpture by Hollywood legend Anthony Quinn. Rick's impressed but skeptical. It's abstract, and he's unsure how easy it would be to sell. The seller wants $5,500, which makes Rick cringe. He decides to call in Brett, his art expert, to verify if this piece is worth real money or just art class homework.
Where did you get it?
I bought it in Hawaii. I buy a lot of rare antique pieces. If you see, it's very limited.
Brett arrives and lights up. He explains Quinn was an artist before acting fame swept him away, and this relief sculpture was part of a limited run of 95. Brett values it at $3,000 to $4,000. The seller feels confident, but Rick sees the gap between value and profit. Cue negotiation tension.
Very cool. One of the great late American actors, and a pretty terrific artist, too.
Rick makes his move. He offers $2,000. The seller shoots for $3,000, and after a little haggling, they settle at $2,100. The seller admits he came in with a plan, and walking out just $100 shy of his ask feels like a win. Rick smiles, glad he snagged art with potential without overpaying.
Beautiful frame, look nice in here.
I'll meet you in the middle at 21.
I'm not gonna let a deal go for $100, so okay, let's do it.
Meanwhile, a man rolls in with a 1930s penny arcade grip strength tester. The machine looks like it has seen more bars than a blues musician. The seller asks $2,000. Rick tests it, squeezes the handle, and gets a "you're a man" message. Corey laughs, saying Rick must have cheated with two hands. Rick lowballs at $400.
This is really cool. These things were in penny arcades, they were in bars, there were a lot of different places.
The seller resists, but eventually drops to $600. Rick agrees, explaining full restorations can cost hundreds. Still, he's excited. It's rare and collectible once fixed. Bob the restorer later confirms it'll cost $680 to bring back to glory, but once complete, it'll sell for $2,000 or more. Rick keeps it for himself, proudly calling it badass.
Is this like the coolest ever? I love that. I mean, I know they made a lot of these, but I've never had one before.
Then comes a fiery twist. A seller presents a New York Fire Department badge, allegedly over 150 years old. The seller wants $500, claiming it belonged to a fireman named Thomas McCain. Corey calls in Mark, a fire memorabilia expert, who confirms the badge dates to 1865. Real history, real firefighter, real cool.
Take a look at that. So you don't sound like you're from New York, my man. Where'd you get it?
I got it from a buddy of mine named Pete. It's kind of got an interesting story about it.
But value doesn't always match history. Mark explains badges are common since no one threw away grandpas. Corey offers $150. The seller pushes for $300, and they compromise at $200. The seller shrugs, saying he'll put the cash to good use in Vegas. A slice of firehouse history changes hands.
I'll go $200. That's what I'll do.
That's the best you'll do?
Absolutely, positively.
All right.
All right.
Back to the grip tester. Bob reveals the restoration. It gleams with new nickel plating, polished colors, and fresh graphics. Rick is blown away, calling it one of Bob's best jobs. Even after paying $680, Rick decides not to sell. It's too cool. For once, profit takes a backseat to pride.
If you're disappointed and you really don't want it, I'll be glad to take it back from you.
Comic relief hits when Chumley's viral campaign finally takes shape. He poses in awkward memes, but Corey and Rick prank him by posting photos of Chum sleeping at work with captions like, "Sometimes I get so bored, I start working." Chum is furious, demanding they take them down.
First one. I also got, I can pawn in my sleep.
Rick laughs it off, pointing out that's exactly what going viral means. Chum storms off muttering, while the rest of the crew doubles over with laughter. Even the old man cracks a rare smile, proving the prank was worth it. Chumley, once again, learns that the internet is undefeated.
Yeah, we did. Sometimes I get so bored, I actually start working. These aren't funny. You take them down. That's what you wanted, buddy. You wanted funny pictures, you know.
The Anthony Quinn sculpture stands out as one of the episode's highlights. Brett's explanation that Quinn was as much artist as actor gave the seller confidence, and Rick secured it at a smart price. The mix of Hollywood fame and genuine artistic effort makes it one of those quirky Pawn Stars treasures.
Now this one is a relief sculpture. They would create a mold, and then he would press the paper around it.
The fireman's badge deal also hits hard. Real person, real story, but limited market value. It's the kind of item Rick loves for history, but not always for profit. Still, holding something from 1865 makes you feel the weight of the past in your hands.
Well, do you mind if I take a little look at it?
Oh, feel free.
Okay.
Sure.
All right. The New York Fire Department's the largest fire department in the United States.
The grip tester, meanwhile, became Rick's personal prize. From skeptical start to proud finish, this was his passion buy of the episode. Sometimes the shop isn't about flipping fast cash, but about keeping a piece of Americana alive.
You know, there's a lot of things that come in here, and a lot of things I want to keep. This thing I'm gonna keep. This is badass.
The episode wraps with classic Pawn Stars flavor. Failed viral attempts, historic treasures, and Rick's sharp deals. From Anthony Quinn's art to a firefighter's badge, every item brought laughs, history, and negotiation fireworks. And Chumley, he may never go viral, but at least he gave us one more meme-worthy meltdown.